Welcome back to CBS Mornings. A bombshell lawsuit accuses the NFL of racism in hiring coaches. And we have the first interview with a former head coach who has filed it. His name is Brian Flores. He was fired last month after 3 years coaching the Miami Dolphins. His lawsuit claims the NFL has failed to create a fairer hiring process. Quote, nothing has changed. In fact, the racial discrimination has only been made worse by the NFL's disingenuous commitment to social equity.
As of today, there are 3 head coaches of color, including 1 black man out of 32 in the league. That's down from 8 in 2018. About 70% of the players are black. The NFL says in a statement, diversity is core to everything we do, and there are a few issues on which our clubs and our internal leadership team spend more time. We will defend against these claims, which are without merit. Brian Flores is here with us right now with his attorneys, Doug Wooddor and John Alefterakis. Make sure I got that right. For an interview you'll see first on CBS Mornings. Good morning. We appreciate you guys joining us. We know that you guys did reach out to us last week, but I'm glad you guys are sitting down with us now. Brian, I'll start with you. Last week, you interviewed for the head coaching job for the New York Giants. What happened leading up to that interview?
Before we get into that, I just want to say thank you to I've received a lot of calls, emails, text messages in support of what's going on. It's been a tough 24 hours, I would say. So to everyone who's reached out, obviously family, and I just want to say thank you.
Of course.
I just want to say thank you. So last week, I interviewed for the Giants position. I was set to interview on Thursday, the Monday prior. Before I interviewed, I received a text message from Bill Belichick saying congratulations on the Giants, essentially congratulations on the Giants job. There was a little bit of back and forth.
We have the text messages there on the screen.
Yeah, there was some back and forth and
some confusion because you haven't sat down with the Giants yet.
I have not sat down with the Giants. There was some back and forth, and I asked him, "Is you talking to the right Brian?" As you've seen through the text messages, he was actually thought he was texting Brian Daboll,
who they ended up hiring.
Yes, sir.
So at that point, how did that make you feel, knowing that you were walking into an interview where a decision might have already been made?
It was a range of emotions: humiliation, disbelief, anger. I've worked so hard to get to where I am in football, to become a head coach. Put 18 years in this league, and it was to go on what was going to be what felt like, or what was a sham interview. I was hurt. And,
but you went knowing that you probably weren't going to get it.
I did.
Why did you continue to go?
I think there's still hope. And maybe it's call it the audacity of hope. I have a belief that there's good in people. I just do.
We knew he wasn't getting that job. On the day before that Giants interview, we reached out to you, CBS, to all of you, to start talking about doing this interview today, because we knew he wasn't getting the job. We knew it was a setup. We knew they were just trying to comply with the Rooney Rule. We started drafting the complaint, and here we are.
The Giants say they are pleased and confident in the hiring process. I get the sense from the lawsuit and from you right now that you had a feeling like, here we go again. This wasn't the first time you felt discriminated against in the league. Is that true?
Yeah. The Rooney Rule is intended to, give minorities an opportunity to sit down in front of ownership. But I think what it's turned into is an instance where guys are just checking the box. And that's been the case. I've been on some interviews in the past that where I've had that feeling. There's always no way to know for sure, but And I know I'm not alone there.
Have to have the Rooney Rule. Isn't that a problem? What were we going to say?
It's absolutely. I'm sorry. It's absolutely a problem. And one of the things that we're doing to help effectuate this change is, the Rooney Rule's tied to the assumption that presidents, owners are going to do the right thing, hire the best, most qualified candidate. What we want to do is tie, certain things to performance and action through this.
But Brian, the reason the timing is really important here, because you're actually up for 2 additional NFL jobs right now.
Yeah.
So why did you do this, knowing from your own statement that you may have sacrificed your future in the NFL, and you're a young man?
Yeah. Well, I let both the teams know that, we were gonna file. But look, I love coaching. You know, I'm gifted to coach. I know that. And the relationships I've built with players, coaches, support staff, I'm gifted to coach, and I love coaching, and I want to coach.
And I've heard from reliable sources you're a very good coach. Let the
No doubt
record
about
show.
Always room for improvement, but I like to think that as well. But this is bigger than coaching.
Of course.
This is much bigger than coaching.
Now, we'll get back to the lawsuit in regards to the Broncos and the Giants, but I want to talk about the Miami Dolphins for a second. You make claims that you were offered $100,000 for each game this team lose, subsequently to get a better draft pick. Kind of speak on that, because you don't hear about that going on behind closed doors. I'm a former player. I know you as a coach. You want to win. I walk in that locker room, I want to win. I don't hear people from the front office and above making those type of decisions that can change the outcome of your coaching career.
Look, this game's done a lot for me. I grew up not far from here, in the projects in Brownsville, Brooklyn. I didn't grow up with a lot. This game, you know, changed my life. So to attack the integrity of the game, that's what I felt was happening in that instance, and I wouldn't stand for it.
And that was Dolphins owner Stephen Ross.
Yes. So.
And you think it hurt your career?
I think it hurt my standing within the organization, and ultimately was the reason why I was let go.
Well, word on the street now, though, Brian, is that either you've torpedoed your career, that this is the craziest thing you could have done, or that it's very brave and very bold of you to do. How are you feeling? Are you at peace with your decision? And was this a very difficult decision for you to make, to file a lawsuit before you have a job?
I understand the risks, and yes, it was a difficult decision, and I went back and forth. And like I said, I love coaching. I do. It's something that I'm passionate about. It brings me joy, and I love helping young people reach their potential and become the best versions of themselves. I'm gifted to do that.
Brian?
But this is bigger than that.
I mean, can I just say, in 2022, the fact that we don't have one black owner, we only have one black head coach.
That's actually I want to touch on.
Really, Brian needs to be applauded for stepping forward to be the first person to really contest it. It's been talked about.
Well, you've heard the statement
but now he has
NFL.
stepped forward to challenge it.
You've heard the statement from the NFL, in a statement, diversity is core to everything we do. There are a few issues on which our clubs and our internal teams spend more time on.
Yeah, they've acknowledged their problems. You know, the executives there have acknowledged their problems. Now the PR team is trying to spin something. You know, they could take two different paths. They could take the path of trying to defend and litigate, or we hope that they take the path of actually trying to correct things, to be an example not only for the NFL but for American society, to lead by example.
When you talk about the owners, you know, you got 31 white billionaires, and then the Packers have a special situation. 70% of the players are black. There's a power dynamic that's visible there.
Yeah.
In the lawsuit, there's this explosive line that the NFL is managed much like a plantation. That's a direct quote. Why did you decide to settle on that metaphor?
I think. Look, we didn't have to file a lawsuit for the world to know that there's a problem from a hiring standpoint in regards to minority coaches in the National Football League. The numbers speak for themselves.
Right.
We filed the lawsuit so that we could create some change, and that's important to me. I think we're at a fork in the road right now. You know, we're either going to keep it the way it is, or we're going to go in another direction and actually make some real change where we're actually changing the hearts and minds of those who make decisions to hire head coaches, executives, et cetera. And that's where we got to get to. We got to change hearts and minds.
Brian, I heard someone say, but don't companies or clubs have the right to hire the person they think is the best qualified for the job, or the person they feel is right for the job?
Whatever race they are.
Whatever race they are, yes.
They do, you know, and that's very reasonable to me. But at the same time, there are I know a lot of very capable coaches, executives, minorities, coaches, executives who are minorities, and in a lot of cases are as qualified, more qualified, and quite frankly better than their white counterparts.
But the difference here, though, is that
they're not given an equal opportunity.
Exactly.
And, you know, when we talk about this fork in the road that the NFL has, and Gayle, you talked about the statement that they released, denying and saying that they're going to defend. What was absent from their response to this 60-page complaint with serious allegations from a decorated head coach is, how about we'll investigate? We're troubled by this. We'll look into it. Immediate, no denial, and disregard and defend.
But back to the point about the companies have the right to hire who they think is best qualified, we all agree with that. But the difference here, if what you're saying is true and you seem to have receipts, they knew ahead of time that you weren't going to get the job. So I'm thinking, why waste your time and theirs?
And the word minority is it's loaded because it has different connotations. Yeah. We might be marginalized in certain areas, but our contributions to this game, both on the field and outside of the lines, are immense. Yeah. And when you have quality coaches that are available, that are gifted, and can lead teams, but not getting the opportunity, that's why you are standing for what you're standing for. But I want you to have one last word.
Those are called facts.
That's right. One last thing, I'll let you say this, but you still want to coach in this league.
I absolutely want to coach in this league, but I also know that I'm not the only story here.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one with a story to tell.
You're speaking up for decades of this going on and hopefully stopping it from happening.
There are people who have come before me, and I know there are others who have similar stories, and it's hard to speak out. It is. You're giving up, you're making some sacrifices, but this is bigger than football. This is bigger than coaching.
Thank you for using your voice. You're doing the right thing.
Thank you.
Welcome back to CBS Mornings. We just had a big roundtable interview with Brian Flores, his two lawyers, in this explosive lawsuit against the NFL and two teams, three teams actually. One of those teams, the Giants, I wanted to give people a bigger picture, their more complete statement here.
Okay.
They say they are pleased and confident in their hiring process. They also say, in the conversation to be our head coach, that Brian Flores was in the conversation to be our head coach until the 11th hour. Ultimately, we hired the individual we felt was most qualified. Close quote.
Be our next head coach. All right, we just wanted to be on the record that
we wanted to be clear there, and the Dolphins also had a statement regarding the allegation that they were essentially trying to fix losses.
Yeah, the Dolphins also had a statement. We are aware of the lawsuit through the media reports that came out this afternoon. We vehemently deny any allegations of racial discrimination and are proud of the diversity and inclusion throughout our organization.
The implication we acted in a manner inconsistent with the integrity of the game is incorrect. We will be withholding further comment on the lawsuit at this time. So you characterize the NFL, but here's the teams weighing in as well.
As we allow Brian Flores and his lawyers to make these claims, we want to make sure that we read the statements from these organizations in the NFL as we did when we sat down.
Absolutely.
And when we were talking with Brian and his lawyers, everybody has a statement, but their bottom line was actions speak louder than words. Let's see what happens.
No doubt.